Today's walk is at Cemlyn Bay, which is at the very top of Anglesey, the north coast, and it's a favourite location for twitchers. Quite often you get a few rarities calling in up here. I don't know if there's anything today, but we'll have a look. One of the things that always strikes me as rather incongruous at a place like this, which is teeming with wildlife, is that over there's a nuclear power station, and that's Wilver, which I think is not completely shut down, but I don't think it's in full swing anymore. It is a mecca for birds, but in September it is quite quiet, because most of the terns that come here have bred and they've gone back to their wintering grounds. Here on the headland is this memorial, which commemorates the 150th anniversary of establishing and launching the first lifeboat on the Isle of Anglesey, 1828 and 1978. Come up to the crest of this little path. We're in full view of the north coast of Anglesey. Yeah. Sea looks a bit lively today. It's quite windy, so there's probably going to be a bit of microphone noise, for which I apologise. As we pan round, there's an island there, just off the main coastline, and that's a favourite spot for seals, and there are a couple on the rocks as we look, but I don't know whether the camera will pick them up or not. In the middle, I'll try and put an arrow on the screen to pick them out. But they're quite large seals, they are. You can occasionally hear them howling. There's actually a couple in the water, but again, I don't think the camera will pick them up particularly well. It's not a wildlife camera after all. We'll go a little bit higher. From here you get a decent view of the cove, and there's a shingle spit there that arcs round, and that's where the tern colony is in the spring, but of course they've gone now. And then the water to the right of that is a lagoon, and you get quite a lot of birds on there as well. All round it's a pretty good place for bird watchers. So I'm back on the edge of the cliffs. Look at Seal Island, as we'll call it. Out about, I don't know, a mile and a half from the coast are the skerries. You can see the lighthouse on the main rock, and there's another rock in the foreground with like a chess piece on it. Best way I can describe it. I don't really know, it must be a ranging target or something for ships, or just to identify the island, I don't know. It's nice to come up here when the sun's setting, if you get a clear night, because it sets behind the islands. You get some nice sunset pictures. Anyway, I'm told by one of the birders that I've seen that in this field round the corner is a pectoral sandpiper, which I've no idea what it looks like, but I've seen 4 twitchers and their telescopes set up on the edge of the field, so when we get to them we'll see if we can find out a bit more about it. And there's the twitchers, 4 of them, staring into the middle of the field. So I can now add pectoral sandpiper to my list, because I've seen it, but this camera won't pick it up, no way. It's just a small wading bird. Oh, there's a nice rusty gate. I love these gates. Yeah, I love these gates. Yeah, so pectoral sandpiper, tick. I'll have to look it up in my book when I get back to the caravan. I've got my big bird book with me. But they tell me it was just a single bird. I don't know how long it's been here. But there's some valuable photographic equipment there. We're going to carry on the cliff top. That's a chuff. One of my favourite birds of Anglesey. When I hear the chuff call, I know I'm on Anglesey. dedicated to St Rhwydrys, who was son of Rhodrin, King of Connaught, who belonged to the primitive Welsh church. He lived probably from 664 to 750, but the dates was it's got a 12th century doorway. It's probably the smallest in the diocese. I'll read the rest of it when we get there. The footpath actually comes from that gate across the field, but we're going to nip across. Naughty, naughty. There are cattle in this field, although they're in the field adjacent at the moment. So hopefully we won't be accosted by cows, and there is a big bull with them as well. It should be okay. At the backdrop of the power station spoils it really. But other than that, it's a really old, isolated church. So here we are. And one way in is over this stile. Yeah. Right there, folks. Yes, it looks like the sheep are the caretakers of the cemetery. Going to VW Barry DFC. The gardeners are here. This tomb's interesting. It's surrounded by the iron railings. It's a raised tomb. I can't read the inscription because it's in Welsh. But interestingly, in a glass vase are a pair of hands shaking hands, and that symbolises the welcoming into the next life by one spouse to the other. You quite often see it engraved in the headstones. That's a palm tree. I can't remember what the symbolism there is, but a lot of these slate stones have symbolism at the head. Ivy is one of loyalty, I think. So we've managed to get through the door, but there's a sign here that says we must close it to keep the sheep out. So Sue's going to close it now, and then we'll walk into the chapel. Take that off. There we are. very light, isn't it? church now and heading past the farmhouse back towards Cemlyn Bay. Shut up. I think we've got some twitchers as well. Oh, it is, yeah. Looks like the birds perhaps moved a bit closer this side. the ever-present power station in the background. But the house there that Sue was talking about behind the walled enclosure has been a bit of an enigma for years. Nobody's really known what's behind the wall, but recently it's been purchased, and that looks like a new property. And I think there was plans to put some holiday accommodation in there. Might have a quick peek through the gap in the wall on the way back. That's the way we come in. This is the lagoon. Looks like tern nests there.
These are new cables, aren't they?
They look at it, yeah. Got little coils on. Yeah. This is the perimeter wall. It's like a prison camp, isn't it? But there is a notice here that tells you a little bit about it. I know that it was lived in by an aviator, and I think this board is going to tell us more about him. I think he was a bit of a recluse. The walled house at Cemlyn. I'll take a photograph of this and read it when we get back home. Vivian Hewitt, pioneer aviator and rewilder. Captain Vivian Hewitt, 1888 to 1965, was an innovative engineer and brave aviator whose intrepid flight across the Irish Sea in 1912, at the age of 24, captured the public's imagination. Hewitt had a passion for the natural world, and he acquired around 330 acres of land around Cemlyn Bay, including 2 miles of coastline and this house known as Bryn Arbour. His aim for this land, large-scale rewilding, was 80 years ahead of its time. However, World War II interrupted his plans, and the land was instead used for food production. His legacy, however, lives on in the form of the lagoon and its tern islands and the surrounding farmland, which is of high natural value. In 1968, most of the estate was acquired by the National Trust. Bryn Arbour and its walled gardens, however, remained in private ownership and are currently being restored and redeveloped, as you can see. We're back at the car park, but I'm just going to go and have a look at the spit. There won't be many birds on it, but I will have a look. And this is the Anglesey coast path. Through here, and this lagoon drains with the tide. And I think the tide's out, so there probably won't be any water running. That's another old ruin that's up here that's never changed since we've been coming. Again, got potential like that for someone. This is where the lagoon drains into the sea. As you can see, it's just trickling. The tide's fully out, I think, now. But this is the area where the tern colony is. Of the National Trust, so it's well protected. If you come going back. They come flying over your head at this point. Get back to the nest. But as I say, there's not a lot happening at this time of year. Just the odd gull. But that's Cemlyn Bay. Over power station. There's a curlew calling as it's flying past. Fishermen in the water. Can't see any seals. So we'll head back to the car. So with the nuclear power station as a backdrop, the walk comes to an end back at the car park at Cemlyn Bay. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been about 2 miles, we've had lovely weather, seen a few seals, a few birds, and we've had a look at the ancient church. So hope you've enjoyed it. If the weather stays like this, we'll probably be doing another walk while we're on Anglesey, so look out for that one. In the meantime, we'll see you and stay safe.